Good evening, everybody. Wait on a few people to join. Okay, we've got Samantha. Hi, Samantha. Cyrus. Or Cyrus. Yeah, it's Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Kat's going to be joining us tonight. She's going to be my lovely assistant, as always. We're going to give everybody about 5 minutes. I got the video feed started a few minutes later than I'd wanted to. I was hoping to start at about 5 till. So we'll give everybody a few minutes to join and find the feed. Can you see it up on the...
Oh, did you want me to go check? Where is it?
Virtual Rapier or Virtual Academy of the Rapier?
Oh, I'm not in that.
No, okay. No.
Sorry.
Oh, we got 6 people on now. Who all we got on? How's everybody doing tonight? Should be a good class tonight. Everybody ready? Did who's got a Pell and gloves and a sword ready to start practicing some of these drills during the class? I know there's usually a bit of a delay. Who else we got on here? Your viewers.
What do you make you star appearance? She's like, why am
There we go. Oh, Layla just joined. Were you guys having any trouble getting to it from the site? Oh, Gracie's going to join us tonight also. Say hi, Gracie.
Hi, Gracie. She says, put me down, lady, is what she says.
Let me go check on my slides. Make sure it got posted right.
Looks like Mistress Rhiannon joined. Emily says, Gracie face. Oh, I see myself. That's funny.
Close that.
Orlando's checking on his slides real quick. He'll be right back.
Okay, we've only got 4 so far. Said I was going to give about 5 minutes, so we still have a minute or 2 left. Anybody got any good stories? Everybody surviving the COVID epidemic so far? never done that before. I waved.
Technology.
Thought it'd be cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was better than I thought.
What happened?
It said you waved.
Oh, that's exciting.
It was very exciting. Okay, looking at 1 minute. 1 minute till go time. Okay, if you're going to join us tonight with the first half of the class will be primarily slides and discussion, and then the second half of the class is going to be me showing you guys some drills to work on your hand-foot timing. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get kicked off right now. Okay, so Maestro Orlando, tonight's class is going to be on improving your hand-foot timing through drills. But we're going to discuss hand and foot timing to really give everybody an idea of what is this hand-foot timing thing and why should I care about it. So I'm going to turn the camera around here. I've got slides projected up on my television. I'm not as cool as Don Martin with his fancy screen share, mostly because I'm using my phone, and so the screen share is a little difficult. So we're going to start with the first slide. Here is just the introduction to the class. So, what is hand-foot timing? That we're talking about specifically. Hand-foot timing is the theory that you can more effectively gain the line of attack by timing your hand and foot properly. That's really what it primarily comes down to. There's not necessarily a right and wrong hand-foot timing, although a lot of people will tell you there is, including me. There are definitely wrong timings and there are right timings, but hand-foot timing in and of itself is not right or wrong. The hand-foot timing that you apply can be right or wrong. But at the end of the day, you work on your hand-foot timing because you believe that it will help you gain the line of attack more effectively against your opponent. Okay, so there are two primary elements to hand-foot timing. Hand-foot timing is first of all the time in which the sword begins moving relative to the movement of your feet. The time in which the sword begins moving relative to the movement of the feet. So what that means is that is the timing of your hand beginning the attack versus your foot beginning to move forward with the attack. And the general question is, which should go first? Should my foot move first? Should my hand move first? We're going to talk about that tonight. The second element to hand-foot timing is the time the sword strikes the opponent relative to the time the foot lands on the ground. Easily distilled down into, should my foot touch the ground first, or should the tip of my blade strike my opponent first? That's the second element to hand-foot timing. We're going to discuss that some more tonight as well. Okay, there's precious little explicitly discussed in period about hand-foot timing. Of course, George Silver's discussion of hand-foot timing is probably the most commonly quoted, and that's also, we're going to discuss that a little bit tonight as well. While most masters do talk about how the hand and foot should be timed, very few of them actually come out and explicitly separate the timing of the hand and the foot. And there's really not actually a lot of footwork discussion in period until you really get around to Agrippa, which is in the mid 1550s. So George Silver, as I mentioned, very late period late 16th century, early 17th century English sword master, wrote a treatise in which he discusses many things, but one of the things he talks about is true timing versus false timing. Once again, he doesn't come out and specifically say hand-foot timing in those words, but he does come the closest to that. And in his true timings, he discusses 4 primary true timings. And I love these because they match up so well with the Italian system, which is funny because he was such a hater of the Italians. So if you ever get a chance to read any of George Silver's treatise, you'll see that he loved to bash the Italians. And mostly because there were lots of Italians going around London selling their systems to nobles who wouldn't buy their system or wouldn't pay for George Silver's time. So the 4 true timings that he talks about: the time of the hand and the body, the time of the hand, body, and foot, the time of the hand, body, and feet. Now, these 4 timings, just expressing them that way, really doesn't tell you a lot. But by putting them into short, small sentences like that, it does make it easier for us to remember. So what he's talking about with the time of the hand is he's talking about what we discussed last night in our class on measure and on the thrusts, was that timing that you take from perfetta. The time of the hand is a strike that's made without the movement of any other part of your body. The most efficient thrust, correct? His second true timing is the time of the hand and body. Now, he says hand and body in that order explicitly because George Silver wants you to move the hand first and then the body. This matches up very well with stretta, which is the movement of the body without moving the feet. And once again, in most of the Italian systems, they would prefer that the hand leads. And when the hand leads, then the foot follows. So that is the time of the hand and the body, or the body follows. Now, the time of the hand, body, and foot. This is his basic description of either a lunge, or also for George Silver, he probably would have be talking about a passing move as well, where you pass your back foot forward. But primarily what he's saying is that the hand moves, then the body comes with it. He's talking about the upper torso, and then the foot follows behind them. Now, see here that we're not talking yet about that second element of hand and foot timing, which is the time that the strike and the foot lands. But we're talking about the time that the attack begins still. And then finally, the time of the hand, body, and feet. This is where he's talking about maneuvers that Agrippa may have called extraordinary moves or extraordinary attacks or extraordinary actions where you may have to move both feet in order to get forward. But either way, leading with the hand. Okay, Agrippa on the geometry of the lunge. Who's seen this diagram in Agrippa's treatise on fencing? I'm sure lots of people have. Lots of people have seen it and they've been confused. They've been especially confused by the diagram on the far right, which a lot of authors, or a lot of people that study this, you'll see them say that those diagrams on the right were just there for aesthetic reasons, you know, sort of to beautify the page. If you read the full text and you read the dialogue at the end of Agrippa's manual, you'll see that he actually did have a purpose behind those diagrams that appear like that throughout. But we're not going to worry about the diagram on the right. I want to look at the diagram on the left with all the letters. So what Agrippa is talking about here when he discusses this in the text is he's talking about the relationship between the tip of your sword, the angle of your body, and the angle of your knee. Relationship between the tip of the sword, the angle of the body, and the angle of the knee. And he tries to give you a very simple to follow diagram for how this should work. If the tip of the sword has to be an A, then the body should be an A and the leg should be an A. Your front leading leg should be an A. If you need the tip of your sword to be at M, then the angle of your body should also be at M and your leg should be at M. So he's looking at a relationship, a correlation between those three components of the body as you move forward. Now, we're going to combine tonight, we're going to have a drill that combines George Silver's true timings with Agrippa's geometry of the lunge. Okay, so why should you care about all this? First of all, good hand-foot timing will lead to being able to more effectively gain the line of attack. So, it'll also help you economize your motion. And then that third point I'm going to discuss just a little bit, but it's improved combat awareness through mindful drilling. Oh, I forgot an R on there. Mindful dilling. Don't dilly around now. Mindful drilling and practice. Mindfulness is very important in training for most people that are trying to master an art, especially a mechanical art like fencing or a sport or something that's athletic. You have a few people out there that are savants and they step into an art of some sort and they master it instantly. For the rest of us, we have to develop that mastery through mindful practice of the art. And you know, a lot of people, you'll see a lot of fencers out there that have been fencing for a very long time, and you still get the sense that they just don't understand what it is that they're doing on the field completely. And in a lot of cases, if you really dive deep into what the main cause of that is that they haven't taken a mindful approach to what they're doing. So by drilling and working on your hand-foot timing, you can also add that additional mindful approach. Now, effective gaining the line, though, that's what we all really care about, because we want to attack and win. So I'm going to come over to another diagram over here. Hope nobody's getting seasick or motion sickness here. And hopefully we can see this. Unfortunately, this one is not landscape. It is portrait, but hopefully you guys can see most of this. If not, don't worry. All of this will be posted on the event after the class. So, engagement. Many forms of engagement. Primarily what we're talking about here is late period Capoeira style engagement. I'm not going to get into other forms of engagement, but this still applies to pretty much anything that you're going to do with a sword. In engaging your opponent, it's really a four-step process, whether you understand that or not. You constrain them in order to provoke them into doing something that's advantageous to you, so that you can gain a line and attack. That's really it. It's four components, and this goes for anything. It doesn't matter if you're talking about cut and thrust or rapier or even pole arms or any other form of hand-to-hand combat with weapons. You're constraining your opponent's options in order to provoke them into into a position that's advantageous for you so that you can gain the line and attack. And this is where hand-foot timing really comes in. I want you to imagine, how often have you seen that fight where it seems like one of the fencers or one of the fighters, whichever F word you prefer, decides to aggressively attack their opponent, and as they run in for the attack, they run right into their opponent's blade. Just right into it. And then sometimes they even get bruised, they get broken bones, all kinds of crazy things happen. But most importantly, they didn't win. Well, this is primarily because they failed to gain the line before attacking. And in most cases, they didn't do anything before attacking. They didn't constrain, provoke, gain the line. They just ran in and attacked. So what we're going to try and work on here with hand-foot timing is the very beginnings, the very muscle memory and mechanical beginnings of getting you in the habit of gaining the line before you attack. That's why hand-foot timing is important. Okay, we're going to go back over to the slides. Like I said, all those will be posted. They were in my Segnos post that I put up last night as well, and I'll repost them again tonight after the class. So the next slide, how are we going to do this? So this is where we're going to get into the fun part. So what time is it? Have I gone?
7:20.
7:20. Okay, good. No, I'm making good time here. So working on your hand-foot timing. It's not difficult. It's not difficult at all. And this is something that everyone at all phases of their fencing career should be working on. But this is especially important for those newest fencers that we have, because this will set a very good foundation for what they do going forward. And it'll save them a lot of plateaus and frustrated losses at tournaments. So tonight we're gonna look at some drills that are going to sort of ramp up from the top down. So we're gonna work on leading with the hand first. That's that first part of the two primary elements. And then we're gonna work on timing the fall of the foot with the strike of the blade. Now, fall of the foot with the strike of the blade. Should the foot land first or should the blade land first? We're going to talk about that in the drill. Then we're going to combine the two into one solid drill that you can do in your backyard. It's a really good drill to do with multiple people, but we're also going to talk about how we can do it by ourselves. Then we're going to mix in some voids, because hand-foot timing is just as important at angles as it is with straight line attacks. And then we're going to mix in some cuts for you CNT folks to show you how hand-foot timing can be trained and practiced for cut and thrust as well. Okay, so if you're going to join us, I'm going to grab my sword and my blade. I'm going to hand the camera over to my lovely assistant, Katarina. There we go. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There you go. If any of my youth fencers are on, they'll recognize the Pell. I stole the youth fencing Pell for tonight. I prefer to do these outdoors, but the weather wasn't as nice outside tonight as it was last night, so we're gonna do this inside with the smaller youth fencing Pell. So first of all, we're gonna work on that first element, which is working on the leading with the hand. So, and tonight I'm using my shorter blade again, primarily because I'm in a house and I don't want to break any of my wife's stuff.
Thank
'cause I
you.
want to stay married.
Appreciate that.
And it also makes it easier for me to stay in the frame. Feel free to use whatever your favorite rapier is or the one that you use primarily. So we're going to start in on guard, lead foot forward like this. Now, there's a saying that I use in my head that I train people with to work on practicing leading with the hand and then following with the foot. And that saying goes like this: I'm going to get you, I'm going to help. And for this, you want to be at Largo, by the way. So, I'm going to get you, I'm going to help. Now, in practice, it goes a lot faster. So, you couldn't hear it, but in my head, I'm saying, I'm going to get you, I'm going to help. Now, the second element, when does the blade land in relation to the foot? When does the blade land in relation to the foot? So, in a lot of German systems, there are people that suppose that the foot should land before the strike. This may be true, but what else is true in most of the German systems is that the foot still starts after the blade. So the blade still gains the line, the foot helps, but they want the foot to land earlier than the blade. Most Italian systems, it's very hard to decipher exactly what they're looking for on this strike, but most people will agree that you want the hand and the strike of the tip to happen at the same time that the foot touches the ground. Remember Agrippa's diagram, his geometry of the lunge, and he discusses that correlation between the tip and the vita, the bend of the body, and the landing of the foot. So if you adhere to his concept of the lunge, then you would also believe that the hand, or that the tip and the foot land at the same time. Now, let me address one thing with this. This is not a hard and fast rule in live combat. In live combat, you will many times see the person that won was not the person whose foot landed at the same time as their tip every time. A good deal of this training goes back to mindful training at the pel. So remember, the landing of the hand and the foot is not us training strategy or the strategy of engagement necessarily. It's simply us training to perform our actions at the same time and to adjust our timing appropriately. But in practice and in combat, it's not always going to be the truth that your foot and your tip land at the same time. But it's still a valuable economizing of motion technique to practice. So now, once again, let me remind everybody here, on guard, at your pel, and remember, I'm going to get you, I'm going to help. I'm going to get you, I'm going to help, and land. Now, you can practice this at multiple ranges. If you want to try distancing it out, if you have a partner there, you can switch off. They can watch your hand and your foot. What you want to look for is you want to look for the foot landing before the tip strikes. And that's called, we'll call that early. So if the foot is early, that is what you want to try and get rid of, is the foot landing early. Now, several do's and don'ts about drilling this. If you notice that your foot is landing too early, a lot of times you'll tell someone, the foot is early, the foot is early. And what you'll see is on their next shot, they will lift the foot up and stomp it down in order to meet the time. This is a don't. No stomping. You want good, clean lunges with very few tells. Stomping is a massive tell for one, and it's not a clean way to strike your opponent. What you want to do is, if you find that your foot is landing early, we're going to go back to Agrippa and his geometry of the lunge. Now, think about the relationship between the tip and the positioning of the foot. What Agrippa would suggest is that instead of trying to slow my foot down, I want to reach my foot out further. So in this way, our timing is not only affecting our economy of motion, but timing the landing of the tip and the landing of the foot is also getting us to bring our foot out further. So, once again, the foot's early. Don't slow the foot down. Don't stomp like this. We want to push the foot out further, like that, so that it lands at the same time as the tip. If you're having problems getting the foot out further, maybe you're too far away from the pedal. Get a little closer. Train, and then slowly back your range up over time. You may be trying to shoot from too far away. Okay. Now, if you're at the pedal, go and give it a few more shots. Give it a try. We're gonna give everybody about 2 minutes to give some more shots. Remember, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna help. Foot and tip land at the same time. To get the foot and the tip timed properly, you extend the foot out further. So if your foot's early, extend the foot out further. Step out further. About 30 seconds. How's everybody doing tonight? How many people we got on right now, Kat?
Oh, I have no idea how to
There's a
tell
number in
that.
the top left,
Is there?
next to the live.
11.
Okay. Hi, 11 people other than me. Okay. Okay, so next part of the drill. Now, we're going to work on, now that we've combined both elements, what are the two elements again? The time that the foot and the hand leave, I'm going to get you, I'm going to help, and then the time that they touch. Agrippa's geometry of the lunge. So there we have it. George Silver has become friends with Camillo Agrippa, the Italians that he hates. Okay, so now we can mix in some voids as well. So I'm just going to review two of the primary Italian voids, which is the sort of outside void and the inside void. Same hand-foot timing though. So as we come in, and for this one we're going to come in quarta. So bring it up in quarta. We're going to step out for this outside void. I have it on good authority that somebody's giving a class on voids on the 20th, I think. Or is supposed to have asked for that time to put in a class on voids. But, so, outside void, same thing. I'm going to get you, I'm going to help. Now, I'm I'm slowing this down a bit for everybody so that you can see what's going on, and then I'm stopping so that you can see the position that I'm in. So as you come in, you void it out, come up into quarta. I've gained this line coming here, and then my foot and my tip strike at the same time. Same thing with our inside void. Void to the inside, this time we're going to be in seconda, or second. That's palm down. Step in and strike is the void. But remember, lead with the hand. So, I'm going to get you, I'm going to help. Just like that. Same concept here. We've come out, changed our angle to our opponent. I'm not going to go too deep into voids. We changed our angle to our opponent, changed our line of attack, and we've also closed this line, hopefully against their blade, and with enough explosive energy that we get the lunge before they realize what's happened. So, what I'm going to do is we're going to give everybody one more minute to work on outside and inside voids. Remember, work on your timing, okay? Come in, I'm going to get you, I'm going to help. No stomping, right? If the foot's early, then you step it out further. Okay, so, cuts. I've only got a few examples of cuts. I'm going to try not to take out anything on our ceiling here. So I'm going to bring my Pel back just a hair so that I'm over a little bit higher ground. But just as a demonstration, so starting in refuse, very common cut, gain the line with the flank parry, what you'll hear a lot of people call a molinet, right? So gain the line with the flank parry here, which is the lead with the arm, step the foot forward, foot and edge strike at the same time. You see my foot okay with that?
Yep.
See that again. So from here, just like that. And you can do that with all of your passing cuts, as well as your non-passing or lunging thrusts. So if you have a cut, for instance, that you're over here and you pass in, striking tondo, the cut and the foot have landed at the same time. See that again. So I'm here, sort of a modified iron gate, and I come in, boom, just like that. Foot and the strike happen at the same time. Okay, next slide. I believe. Okay, so, real quick before I get into questions. Remember, no stopping, No stomping. No stomping. Okay, did I say it enough? No stomping, literally. No stomping. It's a horrible tell. If your foot is early, then you want to stretch the foot out further. That way your tip and your foot are timed together. Great side effect, you'll develop a longer lunge. Couple of side notes to remember with this. You lead with the hand, but you strike with the shoulder. I'm not saying this for health purposes, I'm saying this because you should use your shoulder to hunt your opponent, not your elbow. Use the shoulder and let the hand draw the arm all the way out. Striking like this, if I come in and I strike here and then return, I've wasted all that extra length that I can get out of my shoulder. So get in the habit of striking with the shoulder, the hand pulls the arm all the way out. And no stomping. Okay, questions? Do we have any questions? You can turn it, flip it around. Did you get it?
Nope.
It's the
This
little
one?
flippy button, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh.
There we go. Hey, it's Kat.
That's on me. You don't want that. Turn it the other way. There you go.
Hey, here I am. Okay, so what questions do we have? I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll give it a few for anybody's questions that might show up on the feed here. Nobody? I thought at least Christy would have like some funny commentary to make. Like, I'll stomp you. I don't know. Nothing? Okay. Well, if there are no questions, I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's class. I will be posting the slides and all of the other material that we discussed on the Academy of the Rapier site. There's another class right after this at 8 o'clock. I didn't go up to look at what it was. I'm sorry, I apologize, but please stick around and check out the next class if you have time. And I just want to say thank you to Mistress Rhiannon for organizing all of this for us. And thank you to my lovely assistant, Katarina, for handling the camera. And thank you to Gracie
For not
for not killing me, for invading her space.
She doesn't look happy though.
And have a great time, guys, and have a good night. Stay safe out there.